That sound good? Pastor, you got something you want me to auction off? I'm also an auctioneer. I got 10, 10, 20, 20, 30, 30, 30. No? Okay. Is it time? I got time. 11 o'clock. I know. Good morning. I am Sheriff Doug Rader, Stone County Sheriff's Office. Very excited to be down here and speak today. I've never been down here and got to speak, so pretty excited. A lot of new faces that I haven't seen, and we're excited to put this presentation on. This is probably the 8th or 9th senior scam presentation we've put on in the county in the last month and a half. Very well received, and hopefully if it helps anybody get from being scammed, we're pretty excited about it. So with the Sheriff's Department, we correlated and partnered with Branson Bank, and I have Becca. Wave your hand, Becca. Becca with Branson Bank back here in the back. She's going to speak in a little bit too. They've been really good in providing material and helping out with these presentations. And then I have Chief Deputy Tim Gideon with me today back here. Detective Justin Scroggins. Justin lives right here in the area, so we do have a deputy or detective that lives real close right here. And then Mark Maples, our presiding commissioner, is here with us today. He likes to come to these, and we like to have him on board too. So if you put my PowerPoint up, we'll get to rolling. You're going to have to back up. There you go. So we've seen a huge increase in senior scams over the last year or two, and that's what prompted me and said, hey, I want to get out and I want to present this because I want to stop this. We got to stop this somehow because it's just unbelievable the stuff that's going on. So with this program today, I'm going to do this every time I want you to do a slide. We're going to discuss what fraud and scams look like. We're going to discuss the scammer tactics, and we're going to discuss how to protect yourself and to handle these scammers along the way. Each year, millions of senior Americans fall victim to some type of financial fraud or confidence scheme, including romance, lottery, and sweepstakes scams, just to name a few. Here in Stone County, go ahead. So fraud is any intentional act designed to deceive others, resulting in the victim suffering loss and the perpetrator achieving gain. As of June 2023, AARP reported that $28 billion a year is stolen from U.S. adults over 60. They also suspect almost $21 billion goes unreported. Why would it go unreported? Embarrassed. And we do see that a lot too. People do not report their scams or that they've been taken for a lot of money because they are embarrassed about it. In Stone County last year, we had almost $3 million taken from through scammers. That was reported to us. So you figure there's probably about another almost $1 million that wasn't reported to us because people were embarrassed. That's pretty big, isn't it? For just Stone County alone, that's almost $3 million. It's kind of hard to swallow that there's that much scams goes on, but it does. It happens. And Stone County, what's the average age of Stone County? Stone County ranks much higher than the state of Missouri average for senior adults. Why is that? Because it's a retirement area. How many people retired and moved to Stone County that's in here? So a huge portion of you. So this is a huge retirement area, so we do have a lot of seniors, and so that's why that number is so high, because we are having a large population of seniors. The scammers targeting senior citizens, they employ, let me just tell you, these people, I'm going to talk about it again, but they are very, very, very good at what they do. They do the romance scam where they pose as an interested romantic partner on social media or dating websites. They capitalize on their elderly victims' desire to find companionship. And I'm going to say it a couple more times, but they really like to pick on widows. How easy is it to find a widow? They can look at any funeral home's website and find obituaries, right? And what else can they find in that obituary? your family, your children's name, a lot of your personal information. Do they use that against you? Absolutely. So that's one reason that they pick so much on widows, is because they can find widows through the obituary on any funeral home website. The tech support scams, where they pose as tech support representatives and offer to fix non-existent problems in your computer. The scammer gains remote access to victim's device and sensitive information. Who here has seen the movie Beekeeper? That's pretty interesting how that happens, isn't it? If you've not seen the movie Beekeeper with Jason Statham, if you're not into a lot of violence, a lot of bad words, just watch the first 15 minutes of Beekeeper, because the first 15, 20 minutes of the movie Beekeeper, it really shows the inside of how these scammers work, especially on the tech support scam, where a woman that Jason Statham thinks a lot of, and she gets the pop-up and says, there's a problem with your computer, call this number, and she calls it, and it really shows how the scammers work on these tech support scams. Now, if you're not into the violence and everything, after that part, I would go ahead and shut it off, because it's a Jason Statham movie. A lot of people are going to get beat up and blown up and shot. So, but the first part really shows how they do that. The grandparent scam, or type confidence scam, where criminals pose as a relative, usually a child or grandchild, coming to an immediate financial need, or the government impersonation scam. Criminals pose as a government employee and threaten to arrest or prosecute victims unless they agree to provide funds or other payment. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it this time, though. Any three-letter acronym federal agency, ATF, DEA, FBI, U.S. Marshals, IRS, Treasury, are not going to call you legitimately and tell you if you don't pay this money, you're going to go to jail. In the real world, that does not happen. That is a scam. If anybody's calling you, telling you that you have to pay money over the phone or ship them money in a box, cash money in a box, it is a scam, no matter what. Federal agencies, if they want you, if they're going to arrest you, they're going to come to your door and what? This mic don't work. Yeah, it don't work. They're going to come to your house and go knock on your door, right? The sheriff's department's not going to call you up until you have a warrant for your arrest, and you can pay over the phone, and it will take care of it. If you have a warrant to your arrest, one of my nice deputies is probably going to come to your house and knock on your door. I'm looking around here. I only see about 2 suspect people that might happen to. I'm not going to tell you which 2 it is. Go ahead. The sweepstakes charity lottery scam. How many's won a bunch of lotteries like I have? Nobody? I've won a bunch of lotteries. Yeah. They want you to ship them a little money, and you win the big sweepstakes or the lottery. I got a phone call 2 days ago where the guy says, "Hey, do you remember signing up for the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes?" And I said, "Hey, it's funny you should call me. I've been given a bunch of presentation on senior scams that you guys are pulling off." He hung up on me. He didn't want to. I really wanted to talk to him, but he didn't want to talk to me anymore. So I wish one of them would stop and talk to me, but usually they want to cuss and scream at me. And I don't know. I might throw some camel jokes in there when they're calling me, and then they get all mad. So home repair scams. I'm going to tell you this because we see this happen a lot. If you need a roof, plumbing, electricity, your driveway done, gutter siding, please use somebody from this area that's reputable. If you don't know anybody, call me. I'll give you somebody that's reputable. Trust me, that happens. I've had people's toilets replaced and everything else from people calling me needing somebody. When these hailstorms come through and all these roofs get damaged, all of a sudden you see these roofing companies pop up and they're out of Springfield, Kansas City, St. Louis. Guess what? When you have a leak 6 months later, do you think they're going to come back and fix it? No. No. And the whole, hey, knock on your door and, hey, I think your roof has hail damage. You care if I get up there and look? Tell them to hit the road. You want to get local people that are reputable local people. We have some local people that aren't reputable. I can tell you them too. But please use local reputable people. I lived in Hannibal for 11 years when I was working narcotics. You know what's Hannibal, Missouri known for? Mark Twain. Yep, Mark Twain. You know what else Hannibal, Missouri is known for? Gypsy asphalters. Anybody know what a gypsy asphalter is? They're here today, gone tomorrow. They'll show up at your house and say, hey, we have a leftover dump truck load of asphalt from another job. We'll make you a great deal on it. And you pay them, and they lay it on your driveway, and then they're gone. And guess what? 3 months, that's just going to turn into crumble because it wasn't real asphalt. I knew all the gypsy asphalters in Hannibal. So please, on home repair, please do your research and use local reputable people on any of that. And these fly-by-night companies that fly in here from other parts of the state or other states are not the ones to use. TV radio scams, criminal target potential victim using, bless you, illegitimate advertisement about legitimate services such as reverse mortgage or credit repair, or your family caregiver scam, or relatives or acquaintances of elderly victims take advantage of them some way to get your money. So, check fraud. What is on your checks? Everything, right? It's got your name, your address, your signature, your checking accounts. There's a ton of information on your checks. And bad actors can get this information through mail theft, burglaries, your dark web, or stolen from your business computers. But who still writes checks and pays your bills, mails your checks in? And I'll let Becca talk about this in a minute. But I'm telling you right now, it is safer to do online bill pay than it is to mail your checks in anymore. Online bill pay, there's so many security measures that have to go through to pay your bills. But right now, I've not had great luck with U.S. Postal Service. And I'd be scared to death to send a check through the mail anymore because it wouldn't get there. My parents are in their 80s. My sister told them, hey, we're going to start doing online bill pay. My dad had a come apart. Number one, my dad doesn't know anything about even turning a computer on or the internet. He can barely work a cell phone, but he had no idea what online bill pay was, so he was totally against it. And after I explained to him, Dad, there's so many security measures for online bill pay, but right now, I'm telling you, I'm a little aggravated with U.S. Postal Service, if you can't tell. I've had a package sitting in Pennsylvania for about 4 days now, by the way, so the stuff that gets lost in the mail anymore, it's safer to do online bill pay than it is to send checks. So just something to think about if you haven't done that yet. And your bank, and Becca can talk about that here in a minute, your bank can set you up with that. So on check fraud, the bad actors, they can create checks with software and printers nowadays. They buy these software printers just to print checks out with all your information on them. They can wash the ink off with chemicals and alter your checks. They can hire a person living on the street to go in and cash your checks so they're not on video doing it, somebody that just lives on the streets. And they can use your information to make online purchases. So like I said, limit your use of checks, drop mail containing checks off in a locked mailbox, talk to your banks about the positive pay. The owner of the account approves all checks before the transactions are completed, and then watch your accounts for any suspicious activity. The phone call scams, like I said earlier, these people are the best at what they do. the absolute best at scamming people. These people are very good at convincing people what to do. They mostly target, like I said, are senior citizens who have lost their spouse. They will try to gain your trust and get your personal, and already have personal information about you. Like I said, they can do that through obituaries. How else can they do that? Social media. You can find a lot about somebody through social media, right? When we have 70 employees at the sheriff's office, and when we're taking applications for the sheriff's office, whether it be for civilians to work in the office or for future deputies, you know what the one thing I always do? I get on their social media, because can you learn a lot about somebody on their social media? You can learn a lot about people off their social media. And I've not hired people or even interviewed people before because of what I've seen on their social media. On paper, they looked really good, but you get on their social media and there's things on there that you go, wow. But these scammers can get on your social media and find out all kinds of things about you also. So they will try to gain your trust. They will try to act like you're their friend, or they can try to convince you in a relationship. They will try to convince you you must do what they say to protect yourself or help them out. If you watch that movie, Beekeeper, they really played on that woman's emotions about, oh man, I'm going to get fired if you don't do this. And that woman was really nice and said, well, we don't want you to get fired, and started doing what they told her to do. So yes, sir. Facebook, Instagram. There's a lot of different social media out there. If you're not on social media, yeah. If you're not on them, then you ain't got to worry about getting your information like that. Just like my parents are not on there. So so I'm going to say this probably a couple times. But if somebody is calling you and asking you to get gift cards and send it to them, that is a scam. Every day, all day, if they're asking you to get gift cards, it's a scam. They want you to go pick them up gold. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah. So they may want you to take and go get gold and ship to them. Cryptocurrency, with crypto ATMs, they want you to go make cash withdrawals. They want you to do wire or bank transfers, or they ask you to download an app to your computer or your phone. Do not download any apps that anybody calls you and asks you or sends you. Do not download any apps. And they may even ask you to confirm your bank account numbers. Do not give them any of that. So I was tipped off by a lady, and she said, my neighbor thinks she's in a relationship with this man, and it's a serious relationship, but he can't come see her because he is a celebrity, and the paparazzi will start following him around, so he can't come visit her. But he convinced her that they were going to get married. She was a widow, about a year and a half widow. He convinced her that they were going to buy a beach house together and live on the beach. So I contacted the daughter in Florida, because we have a pretty neat system at the sheriff's office that we can pull your information up, and I can find out who your relatives are, including your adult children, and with their phone numbers. I contacted the daughter. The daughter was very skeptical of who I was. Come to find out, her husband was former military and former law enforcement, and she really didn't believe. She thought I was a scammer. So I had to say, listen, here's our website, here's our phone number. You can go on and contact me back through the website or through our office phone, just to verify who I am. So once I finally convinced her that I was not a scammer, I start telling her, hey, I think your mom is being scammed. This is what I know. Before I can stop her, she says, well, let's just put her on three-way, which is the worst thing that could have happened. And I'm like, no, don't do that, but it's too late. Mom's on the phone now. Of course, what does mom do? She denies. She denies everything, has no idea what I'm talking about. Finally, she asked her daughter to get off the phone so she can talk to me alone. So the mom talks to me, and she admits that, yeah, I've been talking to this guy. It's not that bad. So me and one of my captains end up going down and visiting with this lady. After we finally talked to her a little bit, she finally told us that, yes, the first scammer, she had two scammers contacting her. The first scammer, she had probably sent him about $40,000. I had contacted the bank before I went and talked to her. I knew the bank manager, and I said, I know because of privacy issues you can't tell me anything, but I just need to know, am I on the right track? And she said, absolutely. So I went and talked to this lady. Come to find out, I got back with the daughter. The daughter flew up here and got her mom and took her back to Florida. Come to find out, the mom lived in a house that was completely paid for. Through the scammers, she had gotten a mortgage on her house and sent them well over $100,000. This lady was a very intelligent lady. Very nice lady, very intelligent. But these scammers were so good, two of them, that she'd sent them over $100,000 and mortgaged her house just to send to them. She was convinced she was in a relationship and was going to get a beach house. So I really hammer on this a lot. There's no legitimate reason for any business gift card want you to get gift card or gift card information or cryptocurrency they're trying to steal from you. Anybody that ever contacts you anyway and wants you to send them gift cards or cryptocurrency, it is a scam. Go ahead. So this is a long one, but basically they will call you saying they're with the credit card company and there's been a charge on your card that doesn't seem legit, and basically they want to give you a credit back for that charge, and so basically they get to the point that say, okay, we want to verify that you're in possession of your card. And at this point, they want you to, do you have your card with you, they'll ask. And they want you to give you the card number, the numbers on the card, the expiration date, and that 3-digit code on the back of the card. At this point, what do they have? They have everything they need to make charges on your card, correct? I've had my card compromised before, my credit card. I got a call, and they said, Mr. Rader, were you recently in Florida and purchased these items? And I said, no. And they said, okay, thank you. We will dispute those charges, and we'll be sending you out a new card. Period. That was it. It's happened to me twice over the last 10 years. And that was the end of the conversation. They never once asked me for my card numbers. They never asked me for my 3-digit code. None of that. So if somebody calls you and wants you to start giving you your card number or your 3-digit code on the back, it is a scammer. Never, never, ever give that information over the phone. Okay. So we had a female who was contacted by phone, told she'd been hacked. The attacker said that he was an employee with the U.S. Treasury Office. What key is that? That should be a key right there that this is a scammer, correct? He had a list of tasks she needed to complete to safeguard her assets. If she didn't do what he said, he would lose everything and possibly go to jail because her money was used in human trafficking. Now, do you think this lady really was involved in human trafficking? No, but they had her convinced that she was part of human trafficking. She purchased and sent a lot of gift cards and cryptocurrency. That's a scam. She That person lost everything she had built up for the last 40 years. Went broke. All because of scammers. I was in a local bank one day, and the bank manager waved me over, and she said, "Hey, Doug, I've got a guy in my office. He's trying to withdraw like $150,000. She said, "I'm pretty sure he's already sent monies to scammer. He was a widow." She said, "I think he won't listen to me that he's being scammed." So I go in and talk to him, and after about 5 minutes of talking to him, I finally got him convinced that he was being scammed. And I said, "How are you supposed to get back in contact with these people?" And he said, "They're on my phone." And I said, "What do you mean on your phone?" He said, "They're on my phone out in my vehicle." Well, I didn't ask. I just said, "Give me your keys." I go out to his truck. Sure enough, on the console, the phone's sitting there. It's an open phone call. So I pick it up and I said, "Hello?" And she said, "Did you get the money?" And I said, "Well, there's a problem." She said, "What's the problem?" I said, "Well, you're talking to the sheriff." And she hung up on me. I really get tired of these people hanging up on me. I just want to have a conversation with them. She hung up on me. So we got into our system, and I got a hold of this gentleman's sons that lived out in Kansas to come kind of clear all this up and get in charge of his bank accounts. He'd already sent him over $20,000 already. But once those scammers sink a hook in you, what do they keep doing? They're going to keep going, and they're going to share your number, right? Easy target, and they're going to keep going and keep trying to get to you. So, other countries consider it a privilege to steal from Americans. They will take the money and invest it in computers and other tools so they can steal and exploit much money as they can from you. If a scammer says he or she wants crypto or gift cards, how many times is that I've said that? Quite a few. Is that sunk in? It's a scam. Scammers will not waste their time on someone they cannot scam. As I said earlier, law enforcement will not call you to advise you have a warrant or let you pay online. There is no law enforcement agency in the United States that will take payment online for bond or to take care of a warrant. Does that make sense? If you receive a call, your grandchild is in jail, and they want you to pay over the phone, this is a scam. Law enforcement will not call you until your DNA has been found on a car at a stop or homicide scene on the border or a drug package or want to request money. Law enforcement will not contact you on the phone to collect money. As I said, if law enforcement wants to talk to you, they'll probably come to your house. I had an elderly gentleman that I'm good friends with. Him and his wife are super, super nice people. I borrowed his fish fryer on a Saturday morning. And when I met with this gentleman, he's always upbeat, laughing, and having a good time. But when I met with him this morning, he was down. And I said, "Hey man, you okay?" And he said, "No." He said, "My wife won't talk to me about it, but I'm pretty much sure she took all of our life savings and mailed it to somebody." So I said, "Okay, let's stop." I got on the phone with the daughter. I got her over to talk to the mom immediately to try to find out more information. Found out she had pulled their life savings of $17,000 out of the bank, put it in a phone book, wrapped it in a package, and mailed it to Chicago. I immediately got one of my captains online. He called the postal inspectors. Postal inspectors started working it on their end. Come to find out that this man's wife had been contacted by a scammer and told that her DNA had been found in a car on the border, and therefore she had to send him money. This is a super, super sweet lady. Very nice, very intelligent. They had her convinced. Do not tell your husband. Do not tell your family. If anybody's telling you these things, do not tell anybody we're talking. Do not tell any of your family we're talking. That's a scammer. They had her so convinced and so scared that she did everything they told her to do and mailed this package and never told her husband. And these people have been married for 50 plus years. Luckily, we got a hold of, like I said, the postal inspectors, and they intercepted the package at O'Hare Airport in Chicago, and we got the package back and got their money back to them. That's the only time it's ever happened that we've been able to get their money back. But I'm just shocked because I know these people personally, and I was shocked to know that they were that easily scammed. And that's one reason we do these presentations, because I don't want to see anybody else go through this. Other scams considered occur by text or apps through text. Who's got Snapchat in here? I say that because it's our younger generation that's all got Snapchat. I don't have Snapchat either, but our younger generation, that's the thing, is Snapchat. Through texts, Snapchat, anybody have Facebook? Facebook Messenger is one where you get a lot of message sent to you that's all scams. Texts, you may receive an odd text that has a link. Do not click on any links. Unless you know who that text is from, do not click on it. If you click on a suspicious link, it's possible to download malware and they can get into your electronics, backdoor to your phone, get your sensitive information. Do not scan a QR code that you get in the mail or unless you know exactly what it is. Do not click on any odd link or scan suspicious QR codes that you could be downloading malware on to your computer, and they can get your information. Facebook's, like I said, big score bad actors, especially on Marketplace. I'm a wheeler dealer. I love to buy, sell, and trade things, so I'm on Marketplace a lot. There is a lot of scammers on Marketplace. I don't know if anybody buys, sells, or trades on Marketplace. Anybody in here? Yeah, there's a lot of scammers on Marketplace. Actually, I just sold a truck about 2 months ago. The guy contacted me from Mexico. I told him I didn't have time for scammers. Actually, I got to talking to this guy and gave him my phone number. Legit deal. He sent somebody up from Oklahoma City with cash and purchased my truck. Now, it wasn't my first day. I went and got one of them marker pens to mark your $100 bills. And I marked every one of them $100 bills, over 300 of them, as we went through that. So, legit deal. This guy came up and bought it and was taking it back to Mexico. And apparently, talking to some other people, and that happens a lot. People come up here and buy vehicles and take them back to Mexico. So, I really thought I was trying to be scammed. I was all ready for a scam, but it turns out it wasn't. So, do you have a question? Marketplace?
No, the marker. Why were you marking the bills?
Like the bank does, or your convenience stores, they can have a marker pen that they mark your bills to see if any of them are counterfeit.
Oh.
Yeah.
It scans the bill.
Yeah, it marks it. It turns yellow if it's good. It turns brown if it's bad. Because in that over $300 bills this guy brought me, I found one bad $100 bill. I showed him my badge and he said, "Oh, I replace." He did. He replaced that $100 bill. So, fake postings, if it's on Marketplace and it's too cheap to be true, I mean, it's a super, super cheap for an item, a truck or a trailer or something, it's probably a scam. Never send anybody any money unless you have actually seen the item in person. I really, really suggest that for Marketplace. The Snapchat and the text messages target our juveniles and our lonely people, come from someone you don't know. They try to make people feel good. So this happened to a guy I know. He's in his 50s. Some woman sent him a lewd picture, asked for a picture in return. He sent them a lewd picture back, and then they immediately contacted him and said, "We're going to put this picture all over social media unless you pay this money." Well, this man paid $3,000 to the scammer, and then what happened? They wanted more. They got $3,000 out of him. Let's try for more. At that point, he had to tell his wife, and then he contacted me. And you know what I told him? They're never going to put that picture on social media. They found you as easy prey. They already got $3,000 out of you. They're trying for more. Block every phone number and do not, or Facebook message, and do not respond to them ever again. And that was true. But that's what they tell these people, is they get them locked in with a picture and then they exploit them for money. But they're never ever going to put it on social media. They will tell you to send them a large sum of money to their post picture. That's probably not going to happen. Never pay them. Like I said, it's very rare they post any pictures online.
They do that to teenagers.
Huh?
So that happens to teenagers.
Yes, it happens to teenagers too. Actually, I got to speak to Reed Springs High School. I got to speak to 3 different classes, and I talked about that too. This is a real ongoing problem with teenagers, and the teenagers, we've had some of them commit suicide over it. They really go into some deep depression over it. So it's a huge thing for teenagers and younger adults too. So yes, you are correct. The romance scams, they've increased about 85% in the last 2 years. The bad actors will create fake social media profiles or develop a relationship with the victim over the phone. They sometimes groom their victims for months before asking for any money. A common story is they're stuck out of the country and need money for an emergency, medical expenses, or travel costs. They may ask for money via gift cards, wire transfers, or crypto. Never give money to someone you do not know or have not met. We see a lot of these romance scams, especially with our senior adults that are widows, where they really play on them and make them think they're in a relationship, even though they've never met them face to face. And like I said, they can groom them for months before they ever ask for money. The technical support scams, like I said, do not ever click on pop-ups. They will try to say you owe them a large sum of money and make you feel nervous. They tell you if you don't solve the issue, they may get fired, or they'll only charge you $20. Even if you pay them $20, what do they have? They have your card information at this point, right? And they can take as much as they want off of it. Try avoid using bank debit cards. Never get your money back, and do not download any link you don't know who it's from or what it's for. The phishing scams, they come in the form of text, emails, social media, or phone calls. How many have got that you owe a toll booth in Missouri money, Texas? Yes. So there is no toll roads in Missouri. So those texts you're getting about the toll booths in Missouri, those are not true. I have noticed that I've been to Oklahoma recently, and they've closed the toll booths, and now they have cameras that take picture of your license plates, and then they just mail you a ticket to pay. So that's something new for Oklahoma. I laughed all the way back because I went to Oklahoma and bought a truck, and I came back through there with a truck with no plates on it, so I just pulled my hat down and laughed because they didn't know who I was. Yes. But they would probably know their vehicle was stolen before it ever got to that point. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Last warning, yep. Yeah, I've gotten about 15 of those over the last month and a half. I was toll booth to Texas. So, yes, those are scams. Just block them. I've got way too many friends that like to copy and paste and send them to me and go, are these for real? And So, no, they are scams. Like I said, phishing scams may have done your homework to know who you are, your work patterns, your friends on social media. Pretend to be a legitimate or trusted source. Do never give your passwords, account numbers, or personal information out over the phone or over the computer, ever, to anybody that you don't know personally. Assets transfers, when the scammer wants the victim to send cash, jewelry, gold, etc. Like I said, in caught in time, we've only been able to get it back once. Must act quickly to get that done. Never meet with someone in person. We did have an elderly lady up in the northern part of the county. They sent somebody to her house, picked her up, took her to Nixa, to the bank, to withdraw the money, and then took her back home. So do not ever let somebody come pick you up and take you to a bank to get your money out that you do not know personally. If someone you know is being scammed, and talking to bank managers, and Becca can probably talk about this too, it's really hard to convince them that they're being scammed once they're in the bank. The banks really try to talk to these, because they see it. The banks see it every day. And they try to talk to them, and they do not believe that they're being scammed. It's hard for them to accept that they're being scammed. If you think you're being scammed, talk to your bank or financial advisor. Report it to law enforcement as soon as possible, because the quicker we know, the better. And now I'm going to let our friends from Branson Bank, Becca, to come up and chat. Do you have some of these to hand out? Douglas, would you go grab some of them and hand them out?
Okay. Can you hear me okay? Don't know. I probably should just talk loud instead of this. Okay. So have you ever went to the bank and withdrew cash and the teller starts getting into your business? They want to know what you are doing with the cash. I see some shaking their heads. Yes, and you think it's none of your business. You should not be asking me such a personal question. They're not asking you because they want to get into your business. They're asking you because they are concerned that you are being scammed. And we have so many people, and I'm not saying Branson Bank alone, I'm talking all banks nationwide are having this issue. And we have to ask our customers what they're doing with the cash, because so many of them are actually being scammed. And Doug mentioned the tech support scam earlier. We had one lady come in and wanted to withdraw $35,000 because she had been on the phone with somebody from McAfee or Norton Antivirus, and they were telling her, hey, if you want to be refunded, we'll take care of that for you, because they'd sent her an email and said she'd been charged $350. And so they said, no problem, we'll get this taken care of. And they got on her computer and had her enter in 350.00 and then hit enter. And once she hit enter, they started screaming at her. Oh my goodness, you put in $35,000, not $350, and now I'm gonna lose my job. And it's panic and fear, and it's all in her head, and she doesn't know what to do. There's no time to think. So he has her log into her digital banking, which she'd already done once, but she looks and sees that, oh, there is $35,000 extra in my checking account. So no problem, he's got a solution. Go to your bank, withdraw $35,000, and take it to a Bitcoin ATM machine. So comes into the bank, withdraws $35,000. The teller asks, what are you doing with the cash? Are you gonna buy a boat? You doing something exciting? Trying to make conversation. And she said no, I think she was gonna put a roof on her house or something to that effect. Well, guys, don't pay cash for putting a roof on your house. That's not smart. But what basically ended up happening was she took that $35,000 and put it into a Bitcoin machine, and the money was gone. The man had transferred $35,000 from her savings account, because he was on her computer, from her savings account to her checking account to make it look like he had refunded her $35,000. So she was taking out $35,000 that she thought belonged to this antivirus company. Instead, it was her money. She put it into a Bitcoin machine. The last we knew of that money, it was in the Seychelles Islands in the Indian Ocean. She'll never get it back. And of course, we're the ones asking the question. They're lying to us about what they're doing with it, but what do? They come back and want their money back. Well, you're FDIC insured. You should give me my money back. Well, that's not what FDIC insurance is for. So what Doug is telling you is true. It's happening everywhere. And these people from foreign countries, there's even people here in the United States that want to take your money. They don't want to actually work for money. They want to take your money. And they'll do it any way they can, whether it's romancing you or an investment scheme, whatever it might be. And they will put that panic and fear in your head. I had one woman who got a phone call, and at the same time, they are on the phone with her. They said, "Get on your email. We sent you a letter." And they acted like they were from like U.S. Marshal or some big agency. It wasn't FBI. I can't remember exactly what it was. I told her, "You're being arrested for money laundering and drug trafficking." 80 years old. Yeah. She was scared to death. And they called her for every 2 hours for weeks upon weeks and put that fear in her head, that panic. And they said, "Don't worry, during the investigation, you have to liquidate all your assets, and then we'll give them back to you when the investigation's over." She's now living in government housing. She lost everything. And they took it by making her send boxes of cash and purchasing gold. They had 11 trips. They came to her house and picked up that gold. 2 times she put it in the car for them. Over $700,000 gone. So I'm not here to promote Branson Bank. I am here to teach education on fraud. But I also want you guys to know that even if you don't bank with us, my name's Becca. I've been in banking almost 20 years, and I help people, if they're in this situation, kind of advise them on what to do next. So please spread the word, what Doug is teaching you, what I'm telling you. Tell everybody that you know, and if you need help, talk to your banker, call me. My phone number is on the back of all of those stop cards. And there's also an identity theft booklet over there for you, too. Oh, yeah. Yes. Did you have their account number and name? That is odd to me. The only thing that I was thinking, but you had the account number and routing number, is they may not want to say, well, that person banks with us. We're not going to look up the information for you because we can't tell you, you know. But you had yeah, that doesn't make sense. Now, online bill pay is actually more beneficial than writing a check. One reason, of course, the U.S. Postal Service it has been having some issues lately. We sent out bank shares information to our stockholders, and it was over 9 weeks on some of the mailings to actually get to our customers. So that's very frustrating. I think it's gotten better. Some people, if you do write checks, you might write on the back of your envelope, I mailed this on this date, to try to prove to whoever it is, your utility company or whatever, that you did mail it on that date, and now it took the Postal Service, U.S. Postal Service, 3 weeks to get it to you. That's not your fault, and you shouldn't get a late fee for that. However, with bill pay, you can set that up automatically to be sent out, and depending on the company, they will either automatically send it out as an ACH, which is an automatic clearinghouse. It's just basically kind of like a wire, just takes a little bit longer to get there. Or if the company is small enough, like some of your water district companies, they may not be able to accept it that way, so it will issue a check. And that you can set up automatically and just be done every month. You don't have to worry about remembering to write your bill. Maybe you're going on vacation and you don't want to have to write bills from Florida. But you're also sending everything electronically, and therefore it won't get lost in the mail or stolen. The U.S. Postal Service will be the first one to tell you that there has been a lot of stolen mail. And what they do is they steal it out of the mailboxes, either the blue boxes, so they've gotten a key some way, or rural routes. They'll go through in the evening, late at night, and check mailboxes and take whatever mail you didn't pick up. So make sure you're checking your mailboxes every day. And there are some people that are so professional at this, and we had this happen in Branson 2 years ago, where they had the equipment in their vehicle, and it's actually a criminal gang, and they go from city to city, but they had the equipment to take the check out of the mailbox, open your envelope, scan it in, put the check back in the envelope, and put it back in the mailbox. So you don't know that anything was stolen. The check gets to the appropriate place, it clears appropriately, but all of a sudden, there's check now being cashed against your account, made payable to someone else. We actually called it Operation Homeless because they were hiring people out of Springfield at the homeless camp to come down here. They would drive them down, pay them a few $100s. Some of them even got a new outfit to make them look like a construction worker or someone who paints. And then they drop them off. For instance, are you familiar with Branson at all? You know where Hobby Lobby is at? They would drop them off there, and they have to walk up to that branch. And so that way the car or the criminal is not on the camera, but the homeless person is. And they're told to cash their check. The only requirement that they have to have is they had to have a valid ID. So most of them do have a valid ID, even if they don't drive. And the check is made payable to them, which they did on their equipment in their vehicle. And then they go cash a $3,500 check and give that homeless person $200 or $300. Now, we caught a couple of them, and they would do this. They'd hit one branch at a time, and it wasn't just our bank, it was all of them in Branson. And we caught a couple of the homeless people. Well, they didn't know who had hired them. And you know the person that drove them to Branson was just another hired hand. So that's just another example of why you don't want to put checks in the mail. Even if you take it to your post office here, it doesn't mean it's not going to get stolen somewhere along the way. Does that make sense? Yeah.
So there are a couple of places, one of the electrical, and if you do electronic, they charge $2 or $3 fee. Is there another way to do it so you avoid that?
It depends. I would ask them, if you set it up on your bank side, do you still get the fee? They may be charging the $2 or $3 fee because they're setting it up on their side. And I think Liberty Utility was doing that for a while. I don't know if they still are because they were using a third party. And that is very frustrating. If you decide to write a check, do take it to your post office. Don't put it in your mailbox. You just still have to worry about, they were finding people that were actually working for the Postal Service that were involved, not here, not Branson, but in the bigger cities. They were getting a part of the cut. So, yes.
I'm a tax accountant, and I live here in Arizona, but I sent a client his tax, who's golden with all his tax returns, took it to the post office in Coolidge, Arizona, paid the thing and sent it. And he gets it a few weeks later in the post office, we're sorry, your mail got destroyed thing. So they put that in there.
Mhm.
And someone took that information and tried to file, and they did file
Yeah.
false tax return on his behalf, but I had already e-filed it, so it made a big mess for him. But I'm thinking that postal worker is responsible for this.
It very well could be. Now, I do know that the Springfield Post Office, my daughter runs mail, they were having some issues and had one of the people who brings it down to Forsyth said he couldn't barely walk in the building. I can't think of the word right now because of how much mail they were backed up and weren't getting out. So I know they had some delays. I don't understand why it was damaged though. But you bring up a good point. I don't know if you realize that, but make sure you get your taxes done ASAP. Don't wait till that deadline because somebody's going to file it for you and get your refund. Okay. Sorry.
So we were just, we opened a checking account with a bank that we're familiar with and everything. And the checking account was hacked by somebody that put a check through that said no signature required. Electronic check, no signature required. I'm wondering why they would even be such a thing that no signature would be required.
Okay. So, in the old days, when checks cleared, there was these big files, and you took the checks and you filed it, and then what happens? Your monthly statement cuts, and they take all your checks out of that file, put it in your statement, and mail it to you, right? Now there's too many checks. Your checks aren't even looked at unless something in the system rejects it for some reason. Then they're not even looked at. It's all electronical. So I would say that their financial institution just didn't catch it until you caught it and then alerted them. So some banks, we're one of them, are getting more intelligent equipment that have ways of detecting fraudulent checks easier. So hopefully they'll catch on to that. Yes.
With these credit cards with the touch and everything like that, and you've got these scanners that can pick up all your information off the card, and it looks like you're using it. Is there some way when you're out and about that you can protect your credit cards?
Okay, there are some devices that you can purchase that, so somebody can't walk by and electronically grab the number off of your card that's in your pocket. You can order those off of Amazon. And I can't remember what it's called right now, but yes, yeah. So definitely get one of those. However, chip. So I will say though, you brought up a great point. Tap is actually the safest method that you can utilize right now. I know some people don't like tap because you think that if you drop your card, then somebody can use your card until it declines. Well, that is true, but those are unauthorized transactions. So you can actually dispute that with your financial institution. They should see that it's unauthorized and give you your money back. You have to allow them some time, though. It does take time to investigate. Credit cards are easier. They usually give the money back right away. It's a whole different regulation I won't get into. But the tap, the thing about that is that when you scan or use your chip, if they've got any kind of Bluetooth device on that machine, they could start utilizing your card before you even walk out of the store. But the tap right now, I won't guarantee it tomorrow, but right now the tap is the safest method that they can't hack. Okay?
Can I ask you a question real quick? Okay, my sister gave me a $2,500 cashier's check, and I drove to my bank to try to deposit it, and they refused it, and they said, you go back to her bank and get cash, and then come back and we'll take it, and that's what I did, and then they took it, but they wouldn't take the check.
Okay, so I love Reg CC. It's a very consumer-friendly regulation, and I do compliance at our bank, so I know rules, laws, things like that. So on cashier's checks, they cannot hold the first $5,525. After that, they can hold up the rest of the amount up to 7 days. It allows the the financial institutions to collect the funds from the other financial institution. Okay, so it's a good regulation for you guys. It's not such a good regulation for us because if the cashier's check ends up being fraudulent, we're already out $5,525. And that actually goes up July 1st. It's going to be over, it's almost like $6,700. So it could have been that instead of putting a hold on your check, they might have been saying, if you'll just go get cash and bring it back, it'll be a whole lot easier. But they should have given you the option. Because they could have just deposited the check, and depending on how much you have in your account, you may never have noticed there was a hold, except that they have to give you a piece of paper saying they held it. And it's different depending on what kind of checks you are bringing by. I could stay later if you have more questions. I know he's got more to tell you.
Give Becca a big round of applause. Thank you, Branson Bank and Becca. That's where you give Becca a round of applause. The handout that she's got there that you've got in front of you is a great thing to put beside your phone, so you can kind of remember. I mean, all those are great indicators of a scam that's on that list. So keep that with you or take a picture of it and have it on your phone. So for adult children and seniors, we tell them all to get on accounts and get alert for larger withdrawals. We highly recommend that. For seniors, keep your adult children in the loop on anything financial. Last thing scammers want you to do is keep your family members in the loop on all your finances. And I know sometimes it's hard. My mom's got Alzheimer's. My sister lives just down the road from them, and my older sister, I like to say. But my mom thinks my sister's stealing all her money. So she's really particular about what she put my sister on the account, who's right there handy beside her. And so I have to have a lot of chats with my mom that my sister's not stealing her money and she needs to be on the account. So, but if you can, keep your adult children in the loop on that. Lots of seniors are living here and children live in other states. And like I said, we have the ability to find and contact adult children if we think the parents are being scammed and won't listen to us. So, recognize scam and attempt to end all communication with any perpetrator. Anybody who thinks scamming you, block their number, do whatever you can to stop them. Create a shared verbal family password or phrase that only fits you and your loved ones know. That's if, they try to, right now they have AI, which can duplicate your voice and make it sound like you, or make it sound like your daughter or your son calling you. Just one simple word that you know it's them. Share that with your family member, and that way they know. Before you do business or buy anything online, search the business out. Look at the business, or search, Google it. Make sure it's a legitimate business that you're doing business with. Resist the pressure to act quickly. Scammers create a sense of urgency to produce fear in you and lure victims into immediate action. If they're pressuring you to do this quickly, it's probably a scam. Hang up on them and block their calls and not have anything to do with it, because they're going to pressure you to do it now. Do it right now. This is going to save you. This is going to save me my job. Do it right now. So just remember that. If you feel you're being scammed, you can call the police immediately. There's not a lot we can do with scammers, because like I said, most of them are in other countries. They're not even in the United States. Be cautious of any unsolicited phone calls, mailings, or door-to-door service officers. We don't have the, crap, it just escaped me. What's the old vacuum cleaners, the door-to-door vacuum cleaners? Kirby, yeah. We don't have a lot of the Kirby vacuum cleaner dealers coming to your door anymore like we used to. So what was the big one? What is it? No. What was the other one people come to your door selling you? Encyclopedias. I'd kind of forgot about that as a kid. I can remember that, but yeah, people used to come knocking on your door and sell encyclopedias to you. Don't really need them now because we have Google, right? Yes, sir. Zero to none. It's very rarely you catch any of these scammers because, like I said, most of them are in other countries. We covered a lot of this, but never give or send any personal information, money, gold, precious metal, gift cards, jewelry, checks to people you don't know. Make sure all your antiviruses are up to date and you're using reputable antivirus and firewalls. If you think somebody's getting into your computer, immediately disconnect it from the Wi-Fi. Unplug your Wi-Fi box, unplug your computer, whatever you have to do to get it off the Wi-Fi if you think somebody's getting into your computer, and then shut your device down and then start it back up later. Be careful what you download. Like I said, don't ever click on any link that you don't know where they're from, and take protections to protect your identity if a criminal gains access to your device or your account. Contact your financial institution if you think you've been hacked and let them know that you've been hacked. Monitor your accounts and personal information. Scammers rely seemingly friendly and urgent to get you to act in an intensely emotional state. You have to be strong, learn to hang up on the phone and block their calls. You can stay safe with a bit of skepticism and know what signs to look for. Yes, ma'am. Yep. 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 They're always nice. Yep. Hang up on them. Yes, sir. They can't do anything if you don't answer your phone. Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. Yes, sir.
Is there key words that you're not supposed to say? I always heard don't say yes.
Yeah, that's one thing that I always say, don't say yes. I like I said, usually you can pick scammers up pretty quick. I get them all the time, probably because my work phone number is out there so much in different things, and so I get a lot of scammer calls. But they never want to talk to me after I start talking to them. So, yeah.
Scamming is against the law.
Yes.
How come the government, or how come if they were using a gun, you'd go look for them?
Yeah, but like I said, most of them are overseas, and you have no way to track them.
So it isn't going to end.
No, they can spoof numbers that look like they're from here in Missouri or in the United States, but most of them are from other countries.
I have a friend recently
Huh, did she call the local police after that? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, they'll threaten you with a lot of different things. Start blocking numbers, blocking numbers. Yep. Any questions? I do want Presiding Commissioner Mark Maples to talk a little bit about our recorder's office on property. It's something new going on. He's going to bring you a mic. We know you have a big mouth, but
We have people listening online. Okay. Hi, I'm Commissioner Maples, your presiding commissioner. Everything the sheriff has talked about or the lady from the bank has talked about, and it's happened to me, basically. You know, the phone calls, the text, all that kind of stuff. It's happened to my mother. It's happened to one of my grandsons. If I can ask you to do anything today, talk to your grandkids, because it's in their hand all the time, that phone. Talk to your grandkids. Anyway, how many of you have seen on TV about your deeds being compromised? You can buy into a deal where they'll keep a watch on your deed. Here's what they're doing. They're doing this even in Stone County. It just happened recently. They look to see if there's a deed, if there's any money owed against your property. If there's no money owed against your property, it's gotten so where they can do it anymore so easy. They end up with your property. The one that I know of that happened here in Stone County, local real estate agent, listed a piece of property over in Berry County. The neighbor in Berry County seen the listing, contacted the actual individual that owned it, and said, hey, I kind of thought I'd get a chance at buying that. I'd like to buy that piece of property. The owner didn't even know it was for sale. They are really good at this stuff. When you can fool a realtor so that you can get this stuff listed, it happens every day, guys. Anyway, in Stone County, Amy Larson is your recorder of deeds. It's a free service. It don't cost you a dime. There's a deal on the back here. It's called Deed Watch. It's something that you're able to do, and it don't cost you nothing. I would highly advise any of you to do this with your real estate. It'd be a shame something you worked for your whole life, and then you find out it got sold to somebody, and it'd just be a total mess. But anyway, it's on the back of this card. Also, this card's got Amy's phone number on it in the office, the recorder's office. So if you have any questions, feel free to call her or her staff. But this is a free service. It does not cost you a dime, even though they advertise on TV that they'll do it for you for X amount of dollars. But this service does not cost you anything. Anyway, I'm going to pass these cards out. Like I said, if you have any questions, contact Amy. And that's all I've got. I'd like a round of applause for our sheriff and his staff for doing this.
thank you very much. And if you got any questions, feel free to come up and ask me afterwards. I guess Pastor said we got some food, which I'm kind of partial to food, so that's a good thing. If you have another organization or group that you would like us to come speak at, please contact me and let me know. Like I said, we've been doing these all over the county, so we'd be happy to get it out to anybody else. So thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for coming. We do appreciate it, and thank you all for coming. And as he mentioned, we do have food. We have pulled pork, baked beans, chips, brownies, and ice cream for dessert. So if you volunteered to serve, you guys can go ahead and get back where you need to be. We're going to be serving from this window right back here, and then just to the right, there's a little cafe area with seating that you can go in and eat. And we have tons of food, so please eat all that you want. But if you join me in blessing the food, then we can be dismissed. Our Father God, we thank you for this great information that's been passed on to us, Lord, and we do pray for people that are victims of this, Lord, that you would just help see them through this. And Lord, just give us discernment as we're confronted with these things as well, so that we don't fall prey to it. We ask now, Lord, that you bless this food, the hands that prepared it, and our time together. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right. Thank you all.